September 29, 2017, where he served for 3 years. He was subsequently elected to the House of Representatives in 2020 as the youngest MP in the 12th Republican Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. A brilliant law student, during his time at Hewden Law School, he represented Trinidad and Tobago as a prosecutor in New York. There, he won the award of Best Prosecution Brief, defeating some of the top law schools in the US and Canada. He was coached at this competition by the late Dana Sitahal SC, and he completed his in-service training at Sitahal's Chambers. He graduated from the Hewden Law School on the Principal Roll of Honor and won the Justice Wendell Kangaloo Advocacy Award. He is an attorney at law, having been called to the bar in 2014 and has experience both in criminal and civil law. Let us welcome MP Saddam Hussein.
UNC family. Good night, La Horquetta Talparo. Welcome to the honorable political leader, the best Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa of Senior Counsel, and Dr. Bisesa. Tonight we meet my UNC family. After 35 years of struggle, after 35 years of labor, the United National Congress continues to stand tall, stand proud, and stand strong in Trinidad and Tobago, and nothing will move us. Nothing will move us. We have always fought for democratic principles, we have always fought for the rule of law, and for every single government we have kept them accountable of upholding our constitution, which is our supreme law. So tonight, I want to address you on some matters in relation to what is taking place in Trinidad and Tobago, because you need to know what this PNM government is doing with our constitution and our democracy. Tonight I say that the PNM is trying to hijack our democracy by undermining our constitution. They are hijacking our democracy by undermining our constitution. We have several independent institutions in Trinidad. We have the courts, which is the judiciary. We have the EBC, we have the Integrity Commission, the Office of the DPP, the Service Commissions, the Ombudsman, and we also have an office called the Auditor General. You're all probably hearing some stories coming out of the newspapers about this Auditor General and the constitutional impasse. And tonight I want to tell you how the PNM is attacking that office and that Auditor General, Ms. Ramdas. You would remember that this PNM government, they tried to remove a sitting commissioner of police out of office. They collapsed the Police Service Commission. You remember other PNM governments had a Speaker of the House under house arrest. You all remember that? They tried to remove, well, they in fact removed a sitting Chief Justice Sharma. More importantly, recently, they were attacking the DPP, that the DPP had to go and seek legal advice after getting attacked from the Attorney General, but I'll deal with him just now. And then you have seen that the Prime Minister will attack judges because the judges are ruling against the government when the government break the law. So Rowley vexed that the judge say, you break the law. So I go in and say the judge wrong. That is what Rowley's policy is. That is a galloping dictatorship in Trinidad and Tobago. And under the UNC, we will stop that dictatorship. But you must give us the mandate. You must give us that mandate, that political mandate, to remove this PNM government out of office. They are destroying our country day by day. In fact, as the minutes go by, they are destroying Trinidad and Tobago. But what we must understand is the Auditor General's role. You would observe when we are in the Parliament, we spend about 7 to 8 days trying to pass the budget. And you know the budget is not small money. That is billions of dollars. That is in excess of $65 billion we pass to allow the government to spend this money so that they could fix road, build school, police station. Now, we're passing that budget, but nobody knows where the money go in. So that is why you have the Auditor General to check the books. So if the government got $60 billion, she will go through the whole year of finances, the accounts, and she will find out whether or not they spend the $60 billion, where they spend the $60 billion. So that is a check and balance. That is accountability with respect to public office. So the Auditor General must receive the accounts for Trinidad and Tobago at the end of January. So the financial year will end in September. We're clear on that, right? We have to understand what is taking place. So the government has about 4 months later in order to give the Auditor General the accounts, to check the books, to make sure what they were allowed to spend, they actually spend it. So for the last financial year, which is 2023, the government submitted accounts to the Auditor General on the 31st of January. It was properly submitted then. No problem. But however, 2 months later, the Ministry of Finance picked up the phone and called up the Auditor General and said, whoops, that account we give you in January, it's short by $2 billion. $2 billion, eh? Look, we're going through the kahani here, the story. We're going through the story. She picked up the phone, she said, look, we're missing this money. We have to check back some books. So the ministry went back and they started checking the book, the Ministry of Finance. When they realized it's $3 billion now. So busy, the Ministry of Finance, we're talking about the accounts of Trinidad and Tobago. They start sending the Auditor General WhatsApp message to tell her, hey, we make a mistake with the accounts. Pull back that one and take this new one, but we're not sending it to you yet because we still have to check it. That is what they were saying on the public record. And you know who confirmed this? You know it have a man called Limo? Limo. Look, I have the letter here in my hand. Amo went and gave the whole story of what happened. That they were sending messages and they were calling, they were hounding the Auditor General to accept these new accounts with new figures. So first you tell her, listen, the amount of money the country collect in the last financial year was $60 billion. But we now check back with numbers, the records, and we found that we really collect $63 billion. But it tells you this on WhatsApp. Imagine that, right? Then they say, okay, we have everything in order. They went and they burn a CD now. And they give the Auditor General a CD with the new accounts. When last time they used a CD? When last time they used a CD? And Imbert is telling this country and want us to believe that $3 billion missing because they put new technology in the BIR office to scan, check, and put it up on the system and digitize, but them burning CD and giving them giving the public accounts. You all believe that? We cannot believe a single word that this government tells us. So the Auditor General said, no, I can't accept these accounts because the law says that I can only accept the accounts as at January. That was the cutoff date. Then they sent her this letter, the same lawyer letter. The Attorney General threatened her. They said, if you don't take this, if you don't accept these accounts, we're going to take it to court. Really? Well, the lady, she said, okay, I'll look at the accounts. So they sent her some new accounts now. And they sent this in around April or so. But you know when they did the accounts? In January. They were backdating the accounts of Trinidad and Tobago. You know what that is? That is unlawful, that is illegal, that is fraud. That is fraud. So the Auditor General said, okay, I'll send my auditors in the ministry to find this $3 billion all they're talking about. You know when they went in the ministry, you know what the Auditor General found? She found nothing. She could not find the $3 billion. So that is why today $3 billion is missing in revenue in this country. So the question is, where the money gone? Where the money gone? That is what we have to ask this government. And busy, they're running the parliament. So the Auditor General, she signed off on the report, and she sent the report to the Speaker of the House, the President of the Senate, and the Minister. That's a duty in law. So when we met in Parliament on Friday, the Speaker called on Minister Imbert to lay the report because the report is on a table in front of the Speaker. Well, she said, Minister of Finance, this is what Imbert did. She said, Minister of Finance, again, I don't know if he was short of hair, whatever it is, but the Minister of Finance did in fact disrespect the authority of the House. Could you imagine if one of us did that, what the Speaker would have do to us? They would have pelt me out of the Parliament long time, But Imbert was allowed to disrespect the authority of the House. He disrespected you because that is the people's house. Then they come to extend the time for the report, but the report completed. What are you extending the time for? What are you extending the time for? The Auditor General said, if I can't find the money, they come for an extension of time. To do what? To tell us they can't find the money in September this year? It makes absolutely no sense. And that is why the Auditor General today is fighting back. They are sending her legal letters. They have about 3 or 4 different lawyers. She went and hired Anand Ramlogan. And when that happened, right? When that happened, I'm more like he started to sweat. So he said, before I was going to pay legal bills, but when I hear Anand, I as a senior counsel, I'd have to go and get advice from a senior counsel, but I could pay your senior counsel. That is exactly what happened, So he wasted money getting advice to see whether or not he should pay Anand. That making sense, Trinidad and Tobago? That not making no kind of sense. And this is the kind of people Rowley have running our country. We must get them out. La Horquetta Talparo, when the election date is called. Take La Horquetta Talparo out of foster care and put it in the care of the UNC. Put it in the care of the UNC. So let me put the Auditor General issue aside because that is a burning topic. But I have another matter that I wish to raise with you here tonight. I have in my hand a copy of a memo from the Office of the Commissioner of Police, Ms. Erla Harewood Christopher. And this memo has a subject and it's called Request for Consultation and Stakeholder Comments on the Firearms Control Bill. So they want to change the law for gun ownership in this country. But here what they want to do. They want to do 2 special things. I wish if I had more time here tonight, I would have given you all the whole story about what they're doing. But I want to focus on 2 issues here tonight. And those 2 things is that, the first is that they want to create something called a gun-free zone. You know what is a gun-free zone? It means that even if you have a legal firearm, you cannot go into that place. And these are the new gun-free zones. The Parliament, courts of law, schools, colleges, universities, childcare centers, places of worship, community centers, banks and other financial institutions, taverns and bars, and any government building that is deemed to be a free zone, a gun-free zone. Now, let's analyze this thing. So a businessman going to the bank to withdraw money, where he going to keep his gun? He can't go in the bank with his gun, because that is a gun-free zone. And you know who will know that? The criminals. So what you are doing is that you are increasing the risk of this man getting robbed. Because the criminals know when he leave the bank, he have no firearm on him. Because the firearm either home or it's in a police station. Agree? So that is what they want to do. They are exposing people to risk. Imagine a businessman or somebody who has a firearm. Get a call here on the road. He has his firearm on him. Listen, your son in school, he probably get beat up because we know what's going on with the school violence. He can't go in the school with that firearm. He have to go in a police station first, go home first, and then go in the school to treat with the emergency. That is what they want to do in this country. They want to create gun-free zones. What they are doing is that they are cracking down on legal gun ownership and allowing illegal gun ownership to spread rampant to this country. So it makes no sense to have a legal firearm in this country anymore. So that is why when Kamala Persad-Bissessar says to free up the regulations and stand your ground, it means that you have to protect the citizens. Because what Rowley and his government want to do through this bill is really water down your ownership of a firearm. Imagine you have to go to church in the night, or you go to the temple or the mosque, and you're going home in the night. The bandit know you don't have no firearm with you, So you know where's your position. And that is the risk that they are exposing people in this country to. And that must stop. Look with the issue with the schools. When they were shooting around the school, you all remember the Rose Hill RC school? When the children were under the table? What it was, a man with a legal firearm shooting? It was an illegal firearm. Where are the policies to get the illegal firearms off the streets? That is what we have to ask this government. It's not about the legal ownership of firearms. It is the illegal ownership of firearms. Then they want to have a new thing called something called the Firearm Licensing Board. So that in the country, the law is that the Commissioner of Police will be the only person who can give you a firearm license. They now want to introduce a board. And what they're saying in the letter is that, this is what Amo is saying in the letter. He said the establishment of a firearms licensing board to limit the discretion of the Commissioner of Police granting license. So what they want to do is that when this board make a recommendation, the Commissioner of Police have to rubber stamp that recommendation. Who you think they put in on that board? Who you think they put in on that board? They put in their own PNM operatives there on that board to grant firearm license. Why are you taking out that power from the office of the Commissioner of Police? Because what? You don't get a commissioner you don't like? Is that the problem? That is not how our democracy runs. We have to respect the rule of law. And we will stand our ground on this particular piece of legislation. Because this piece of legislation, they should take it and throw it out in the dustbin. That's what they should do with this. Because this limiting the office of the Commissioner of Police and exposing people to additional risk in this country is a recipe for disaster. And we will stand with the law-abiding citizens of this country. We have already indicated our policy. We are going to introduce laws to stand your ground so that we could fight back against the criminals. Are you all in agreement with that? And the only way that could happen is under the leadership of Kamla Persad-Bissessar and a new UNC government. So I thank you very much, Horquetta Talparo.
Let's give it up once more for MP Saddam Hussein, young, brilliant UNC mind. Before I introduce our next speaker, I just want to speak 1 minute about how special this place is here. And I'm going to read us a very short article from the Guardian newspaper. The Globe Club of the Brazil Secondary School is making waves. This is an article from in July 2023. In July 2023, the club was nominated for a National Youth Award in the category of Environmental Sustainability and Preservation, practicing and advocating the ideals of environmental sustainability and preservation. The club was given the Award of Excellence in this category for work on its hydroponics garden, hummingbird garden, butterfly garden, and the Bioscan project. 25 years ago, this entire area was covered in bush. It was like a mini forest. Mr. Delphine Daniel, you're a resident of Brazil. You remember how it was. And back then, we had a very dynamic Minister of Education. It was under a UNC government. And that Minister of Education understood the importance of educational facilities in rural communities. In September 2000, the Brazil Secondary School, formerly known as the Brazil High School, was opened. And back then, we had criticism from a gentleman saying we were building schools. Madam Political Leader, we were building schools for what? Lagahu and Duens. And you know who was the man who was saying that? Imbut. Right? I know how much he compared to Adwen in terms of height. Right? That was the guy who was making the comparison, the criticism. Well, I'll tell you something. Madam Political Leader, this is my electoral district that we are in tonight. This is the only secondary school within my electoral district of Londonville, Talparo. And on behalf of the burgesses of Mundo Nuevo, Tamana, El Queimado, Brazil, Todd Road, Las Lomas, even La Horquetta and San Rafael, I want to say a hearty thank you for building this school back for us back in 2000. And the children of Brazil Secondary School will continue to make you proud. Our next speaker is a nationally and internationally known, he's nationally and internationally known as a swimming coach, sports commentator, and a media broadcaster. He is well known as a swimming coach of Olympic bronze medal winner George Bevell III, and as the host of nationally popular Douglas Politics, one of the most listened to talk shows in Trinidad and Tobago. He was first elected to the House of Representatives in 2010 as the Member of Parliament for Dabadi Umera, and was appointed by Kamla Persad-Bissessar as Minister of Sport and Youth Affairs. Under his ministership, Trinidad and Tobago secured the highest number of medals at the Olympics in our history in 2012. In 2020, he was appointed as opposition senator of the 12th Republican Parliament. To this senator, I want to say thank you for illuminating the numerous grounds within La Horquetta Talparo. A powerful voice for the United National Congress. Let's welcome Senator Arnold Roberts.
Family, good evening. I just leave my little 9-year-old daughter doing homework. I say, girl, do your homework and go to bed. I had to go Brazil. She said, Daddy, where you going? Airport? I said, no, I'm going up in a place where the UNC is strong and has soldiers who will vote for Kamala Harris to be the next Prime Minister. Every time Saddam Hussein talk, I just had to talk a little bit about what he talked about because he always bringing sense to the table. Imagine a commissioner of police putting forward a document to remove power from Shiwak. That is how sick the PNM is. She taking a document, put she logo on top. She in charge. She have the discretion. She could protect people. She could protect citizens. And the PNM tells she, girl, we just give you a tea party and think we just renew your contract. Here what? Give we that power. We want to put a PNM board to decide who could get firearms. All you ever hear more nonsense in your life? The PNM is turning your economy and your money into a Ponzi scheme. Forget big word, you know. Auditor General and constitutional authority and the right and accounts and management letter. Forget all that big talk. The PNM thief your money and tell the lady, look, cook the book. And the lady say, I not cooking. I just only cooking kitchen. So you understand what I say? The PNM thief your money. They say, oh good, that looking too big boy. Call that lady, hit she on WhatsApp and tell she we find $3.49 billion. The lady watch the WhatsApp, she say, well all right, where it is, come and show me. They can't show she, right? They say just add it in and we go organize, don't frighten. But they find an independent human being. And that's why PNM can't take independence. PNM want you dependent. PNM want to victimize you. PNM want to tell you what you have to do. PNM want to instruct you because independent authority means you have to be good. And the PNM not good. The PNM sucks. The PNM not good at education. Our children suffering. The PNM not good at giving you water. You're going back to the days of living bucket. The PNM not good at crime fight. We had to dodge bullet, now they want to take away gun from the few of we that have to protect you. Well, Kamala Harris say fire burn that. If you're a good citizen, certificate of character, you must defend yourself against the bandits. Imagine in Cocoa Reed Powder magazine, a man just ride through and kill 4, shoot 8. We don't even know the numbers, just bullets sparking all over the place. You know what is the irony of that? That is a PNM stronghold. That is Diego Martin. Diego Martin had Rowley, the Prime Minister. It have him but the longest acting Prime Minister in the history of the Caribbean because Rowley always outside somewhere. And it have a next no-name one, but he's a PNM. It have a PNM corporation. And when you know that right there in that powder magazine, I was fighting since 1989 to build an aquatic center for the youth in that area, for children to swim, to identify talent, to earn scholarships, to move out. And John Rahal, who's Rowley good boy, Rowley chairman of the party, Rowley fella, Rowley and Renaissance with Joseph Rahal, big friends. They said, over your dead body, we're going to let you build a pool there. That land is too valuable for children to swim. That land is so valuable, but don't worry. Roberts are lawyers as much as Kamala and Freedom Law Chambers. And we fighting the PNM in court right through. But had you put that sporting facility, education, homework centers, also if Kamala Persad-Bissessar was the Prime Minister to give differently able sport camps, education, coaches, them shootout would not have taken place. The PNM leaves people at the mercy of bandits, and then they tell you, don't vote for Indian. All you ever hear anything making less sense? We are Trinbagonian. We are not Indian and African. We are Trinidad and Tobago. We are Christian and Hindu. We are Muslim and Baptist. We are Orisha and we are Jah Rastafari. We are Chinese. We are Syrian. We are Trinidad and Tobago. And the time is now that each and every one of us must realize the PNM has been unmasked and we must unite. So no amount of cheating, no amount of control, no amount of EBC friend could help them. We must beat them straight down from Carnage up to Matlot, down the center, to Labre, to Manzanilla, to Mayaro. The whole yellow must spread across the country. Now if all you find a vex tonight, it's because things get a little bit more serious for me. I tell all you about my little daughter who's 9 years old. But I have a big daughter who will be 27. Today, her boyfriend of 7 years called me at 8:35 a.m. He said, Uncle, will you be home around lunchtime? I say, I'll be dipping in to eat something. I'll reach home at 12:35. He said, Uncle, I had to come and discuss something with you. I say, okay, my brother. Well, I hang up and my hands start to shake. Because I know him 7 years, and we don't really discuss like that. If he come, he eat a food, he go, we lie, he come with my daughter, but I realize there's something happening. And so said, so done. He came and he asked me permission to marry my firstborn beloved daughter. Now, while the normal reaction is to clap and say yes, in a country run by Rowley and the PNM, I get frightened. So all you out here to get serious now, because it could have grandchildren coming. And if I had to have grandchildren coming, our next generation cannot live and survive under this tyrannical, oppressive, disgusting, nasty, divisive PNM. So I have to call on all of you now to wake up across Trinidad and Tobago, spread the gospel of the UNC, spread the gospel of Kamala Persad-Bissessar about your money. I sat in the Senate on Monday the 29th. And you must understand, part of my love and respect for Kamala Persad-Bissessar is that she's an attorney at law and a brilliant one, and a senior counsel. Because I came from a family of lawyers. Mother lawyer, father lawyer, 2 brothers that share the womb is lawyer, my son is a lawyer. But when I sit down in the Senate, and I look across the Senate, and I see a so-called PNM lawyer called Limo, a dishonest, lying perjurer who went in a court of foreign jurisdiction and signed an affidavit fraught with lies. If all you go by the police and lie, if the police stop you for speeding and you lie, you could get extra ticket. This man gone in Florida and lied on the place and signed that, and still calls himself the Attorney General of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the titular head of the bar. But this man worse than that. The man worse than a liar. Because we came to debate this Auditor General, sorry, I'm using big word. This old thief thing, the PNM thief all your money, and they come to organize the fixed and cookery books. And call him the Dwayne Imbot, the worst Minister of Finance in the history of the Caribbean. The man who built stadium as an engineer and it fall down in Grenada. He built condominium in Diego Martin, it fall down. He built wall in Maraval, it fall down. He tried to get tall and he fall down. This call me but stood up there and tried to cast aspersions on the character of the Auditor General, saying she lied because his officials at the ministry didn't backdate nothing. And he have documents to show the real date is April and all. That man went on for about 8 minutes. And that Attorney General Lymore sat there with his face like concrete, like the obia stick it. It like garlic couldn't move it. And he had in his possession a letter from the Auditor General saying and showing it as evidence the two separate sets of accounts. In tab 1, the attachment to the letter that Lymore received on April 17th showed the original accounts with 61 billion, billion. And on tab B, in his possession, given to him, the Auditor General gave him the fraudulent accounts backdated to January 31st, showing $64 billion. That Lymore admitted he got the letter, he read the letter, he told the Auditor General, I can't help you, I done against you because I with the doing. And he knew that what Imbat was saying was totally false and a lie. Now the Parliament is sometimes described as the highest court of the land. And when an attorney goes in the court and lies, they should be disbarred, they should be removed. And Lymore knew that he hid evidence. He kept evidence away from the independent senators. He kept evidence away from the opposition. He withheld evidence from the people of Trinidad and Tobago to cover up the PNM set of old thief. Lymore must go. But this is the policy of the PNM. They put the most incompetent human beings in big work. That is why 21 babies dead, because Dial Singh is a dunce. That's why our children going to school, it are more knife and fight, because Gatsby Dolly is a dunce. The accounts getting cooked like Ponzi scheme, because the Dwayne is a dunce. No money in local government, no releases to corporations to serve you, because tight pants Catwoman wearing suit Paris is a dunce. The PNM is full of dunce. All the PNM could foster is a set of dunce. And all you in Horquetta, Talparo, all you fostering the biggest dunce. Foster Cummins. We are too intelligent. We are too bright to allow the PNM to divide us, to make us vote for dunce. When you go home, look in your mirror, look at your neighbor, go to the market, go in the pharmacy, drive down the road, go to school, and talk to everybody and ask them, we bright or we dunce? Because if we bright, the code is yellow. If we bright, we don't want Ponzi scheme. If we bright, we want more school. If we bright, we want more grants. If we bright, we want better energy sector. If we bright, we want more US. If we bright, we want better roads. If we bright, we want water. If we bright, we want less crime. If we bright, we want more soccer. If we bright, we want more sport. If we bright, we want more textbook. If we bright, we want more grant. If we bright, we want baby grant. If we bright, we want Kamla! We want Kamla! And I think we bright. I think we children bright. I think the country bright. I think the sun will rise bright. I think the yellow bright. I think my people bright. And when the election bell ring, we will vote UNC right across the country. God bless. Stay strong. Good night.
Got to find a solution to this pollution. Oh, oh, oh. Got to find a solution to this pollution. Yeah. Got to find a solution.
Thank you, Senator Anil Roberts. The constituents of La Horquetta Talparo, they're eagerly waiting to return a United National Congress candidate as the next member of parliament for La Horquetta Talparo. After the next general elections, La Horquetta Talparo will lead the way for the UNC forming the next government of Trinidad and Tobago. If you agree, let me hear you, La Horquetta Talparo. Our next speaker has a track record of entrepreneurial and management excellence for over 25 years. She has served as a managing director of HDC, chairman of UDCOT, CEO of Pizza Boys Group, Minister of Transport, Tourism and Tobago Affairs, Director of VIMCOT, CEO of PTSC and the Business Development Manager of UWI St. Augustine, along with board memberships of TNTech and YTEP. She's a chartered accountant, certified professional accountant, and certified management accountant. She holds an MBA from the Edinburgh Graduate School of Business and a Chief Executive Training Certificate from the National University of Singapore. She is known in business circles as a high-energy, innovative manager who burns the midnight oil to get projects done. And I can tell you that is true. We all know her in the UNC to be the same way. A woman with a lifetime of service to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Please welcome to the stage, Senator Jolene John.
The serious time, violence and
Honorable Leader of the Opposition and Dr. Dredrick Besessa, Members of Parliament, my senatorial colleagues, members of the media, we are in the constituency of La Horquetta Talparo. The LHT war room has showed up. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much to the Honorable Political Leader for placing the constituency of La Horquetta Talparo high up on the agenda, the UNC's agenda. I want to thank the best team in politics, loyal, hardworking, consistent. They're amazing, LHT. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. They don't back down. Leader, they don't back down. The war room is here tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Madam Political Leader, we literally stand at the crossroads in Trinidad and Tobago with a constituency that is really in the center of our beloved republic. It is a space of a lot of potential. Lato will tell you that there are 38 bike trails, with 8 now functional because trees are falling down in these trails. Excellent trails because they are looking to see how they can stimulate community tourism in this area. 8 are now working well, I mean to say bikers can use, but the other 30, trees are falling down and the forestry division said they have no saw to clear the road. The Arena Dam is the largest in the country, and yet Brazil still gets no water. The constituency in communities such as Tamana, El Comado, Monte Nuevo, and Mamaral produces the finest cocoa in the world. And there is the historical site, San Francisco, located in Arena, San Rafael, which is credited with the first uprising against colonialism in Trinidad. And as our dear MP, Saddam Hussein told you, probably you have to have uprising to get out of foster care also. As promising as this constituency is, the promises remain unrealized. and residents face a lot of daily challenges. I recall in the run-up to GE General Election 2020, we had a lot of people. As you can see, this is a very vibrant group. This is a hard-working team. Sitting in this room, Madam Leader of the Opposition, are 17 party groups, active party groups, 17 active party groups. And the constituency of La Horquetta Talparo stand on their shoulder. They can mobilize as no one else. And as all these MPs will tell you, when La Horquetta Talparo show up, the thing now starts. And they have showed up tonight. They have showed up tonight. I recall telling many young people who visited our campaign office at the time that we thought we were on the road to victory. I said, I'll be in this office, that is our campaign office, at 4 a.m. the next morning, should we have won the election. I will sit with you because I want to hear where you are, I want to hear where you want to be, and then we're going to deal with the gap. We did not win, and literally you people, or most of you here from the constituency, when we took down our campaign banners, immediately what went up was a banner that La Horquetta, that particular location, will become the Dubai of Trinidad. It was alleged that residents, if they give $1,000, they'll get 10,000. If they give 10,000, they get 100,000. It is now public record that the long lines waiting for this incredible financial miracle have mostly lost their money, proving the adage that what is too good to be true is too good to be true. So I hope this time La Horquetta Talparo would have woken up. I have been to Dubai several times, and its economic success is built on vision, mission, ambition, hard work, on relentless hard work of many, not on simidimi. What the moment in 2020 taught us is that people are truly searching for something. It demonstrates that people are searching for relief. However, without putting in the hard work to attain sustainable reality, citizens are susceptible to simidimi, to abracadabra, to heartache and cynicism, the feeling of being left out and left behind. And having said that, I want to correct the record of Senator Nakid when he said he won some football match. That is only in his imagination. Madam Leader of the Opposition, we beat him coming and going in that football match. As a matter of fact, he was beaten by a girl because the coach of our team was the former coach of the national football team, Miss Maylie Atkin. And as a matter of fact, she's listening right now in Atlanta. And she said, why is David Nakid lying? And I said, Males, I'll correct that record. So she was listening. So, Madam Leader of the Opposition, so this corridor which links east to west, which is really on the highway to hell, on it are the souls, gone too soon, of 18-year-old Ashanti Riley, beaten and stabbed to death. 20-year-old Andrea Barrett, who was found dead in this area in the heights of Aripo. And we cannot move on. For I don't understand why we can move on with all of these young people just falling by the wayside. It appears we have forgotten. I keep speaking about 9-year-old Jomo, died while playing in the savannah. September 23rd, last year, 4 children of Anissa Mohammed were all killed in the same night, in their bed. Faith Peterson 10, Ariana Peterson 14, Shane Peterson 17, Tiffany Peterson 19. Why is there no action? Why? I dare not think about why. Why is it? Is it that they are too poor? Why are we not up and about? Why are we not on the street? These lives have gone too soon. They are buried too soon. 6-year-old Kylie, just up the road in Grandy, killed in her bed, murdered. They are not coming back. And recently, the 4-year-old Amara, who did not leave as she came, she left in 2 pieces. And yesterday, 12 was shot in Caranage, all along this highway to hell. 4 of these 12 shot are dead. How can we be referring to a 22-year-old Shakin Utley as deceased? 22 years old. Antonio Jack, 57. Sadiki Utley, 31. And Jonathan Osman, 36. The USA National Rifle Association contends, only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. But we have to do more than that. As we sit here in this school, it takes more than that. We know our land is troubled. And sometimes people tell us that we are politicizing crime. But it will take politics to solve crime. It will take a woman of resolve to solve crime. It will take a woman who built 106 schools, because when you build 106 schools, it means there's a space for every child to be trained. They go there and they sit down and they learn something in that school. They learn civility, not as what is going on now. You are seeing fighting in school, children with knives in school. You send your children to school and you don't know if they'll come back in one piece. That is in Rowley, Trinidad and Tobago. That is our reality. You need a woman who will build. I mean, people sometimes, maybe the leader herself doesn't know what her record is, what her legacy is. Because sometimes these people are trying to push her, and she don't push back. But I don't want to go there tonight, because if I go there tonight, for the period 2010 to 2015, 8,521 housing units were delivered. 8,521 were delivered. We handed into people's hands 6,438 keys. It meant 6,438 citizens had a place to call home. We opened HDC on a Saturday morning, on a Sunday morning, at 6 o'clock in the morning, so people could pay before they went to work. This is not pie in the sky. This is not about using your imagination. It means people having a place to be proud of. This was the vision of Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Every week we showed up, handing out 100 keys, and I'll say it over and over. 800 members of the protective services got keys. It meant police, fire services, army. They got keys, 800 during that period. Ask them how much they're getting now. When we opened a new site, we look at it on the cadastral and we put what is called a ring of fire. You look at the new sites we open, you don't hear about crime. I'm not saying they don't have problems, but you don't hear about the crime that is happening in the other areas. Because we had police bordering all four corners, living there as a neighbor. You didn't have to call the police was your neighbor. We handed out 380 keys to persons who had been waiting for 14 years and over. When big man got in the keys, they were lying helpless in Dr. Munilal's arm. It's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. 380 of them got keys. Right here in Greenvale, just down the road there in Greenvale, we handed out 120 keys for the differently abled under the instruction of Kamla Prasad Bisesa. And they're saying, people are telling us, no, she can't. When they say no, she can't, what we have to say, yes, we can. Yes, she can. 120 keys. The people just down at Greenvale there. You know what happened? We did not just hand them the keys. We retrofitted those houses under the instruction of the then Prime Minister. We brought cupboards down. We lowered the bars in bathroom. We built ramps to ensure their lives were made manageable and they had a little bit of independence. That was all the vision of Kamla Prasad Bisesa. You think that has gone anywhere? Do you think she's not a visionary? Like when you're going to sleep, Horquetta, is Kamla not a visionary? Yes, she's a visionary. It was the same Kamla yesterday, it's the same Kamla today, and it's the same Kamla we're going to have tomorrow when we vote into office. She was there standing like a rock, whether it was arson or fire or flood in Diego Martin. She put on her boots herself. She wasn't out flying to where are we going now? I don't even know. Like we had to put up a map and he just throw a dart and say, where am I going to go now? Because Rowley's a never see, come see. I've never seen that. Just wasting time, goes everywhere and brings back nothing. Brings back nothing. Wherever there was a landslide, Kamla Prasad Bisesa will show up. Recently, you would have heard us an argument about this hospital called the Couva Children's Hospital. In 2015-2016, when citizens were demanding them to open it, the PNM lied. And Robert spoke about the lie, Senator. Lied and said, the hospital can't open. It was a lie. What happened then? We had 21 children dying, and now Trinidad and Tobago is ready to hear the truth. Because I am telling you, Trinidad and Tobago also enabled those lies, you know. Trinidad and Tobago enabled those lies because they know the truth. Because that hospital was fully loaded, ready, and we were commissioning it. Dr. Bodo is here. He was the chairman of the Southwest Regional Health Authority. He was the client. The hospital was ready, it had everything. And even today, when you're looking at a young lady, she's not an actress, she's a biomedical engineer, going through the hospital, talking about all of the facilities, including the NICU. What does D.L. Singh say? He says it's aspirational. Even in the face of the truth, D.L. Singh is lying. But you must not believe D.L. Singh, even if they notarize his tongue. He's a liar. They could notarize his tongue. Don't believe him. I mean, in America, there was the first president, George Washington, who said, famously said, I will never tell a lie. But D.L. Singh and Rowley could never tell the truth. They are known and certified liars. And they have lied to you, and they continue to do that. So the Couva Children's Hospital was on track. They thought out everything, and now tell us it has nothing there. But they have to account. I tell people I don't get hot and bothered, you know. A man the other day called me, very senior professional in this country. He said, Jill, you get all your act together now. Because he voted for Rowley in 2015 and 2020. He said, but in 2025, I prefer to cut out my finger than to vote for Rowley. I hope more cut out the finger. That is what is happening. So when they are telling you, we are not good enough, we can't make it, tell them talk for yourself. If you are a loser, you stay that way. If you can't make it, you stay that way. If you are done, join the PNM. But I know La Horquetta Talparo, this LHC team is ready. Is ready. You are ready. You're ready. You're ready. So don't be distracted by those who have placed their agenda in the public domain, claiming that the UNC is on a downward slide. I don't know of any organization, and you would have heard my CV. I have run big companies for my entire career, so I know companies. And I have not known of any that could do what this UNC does. Every week you're in a different location. You pick up, you pack it up, and you move elsewhere. Of course, LHC is the biggest crowd. Of course. You know, we like Texas, everything bigger in LHT. You understand? But notwithstanding that, every week to be doing that, every week to have our MPs and senators prepared for press conferences and deliver so well. We are always in the media. How does that happen? That happens because of leadership. It doesn't happen just by guess. It ain't no simmy dimmy. Jumbie don't come in the night. That happens because Kamla calls me in the night to go through the schedule to find out what are we doing next. You have to give an entire schedule. And we keep moving. Is this a crowd that cannot win? But I tell you, all you're going dead on me. LHC, you come here to wave flag and joke. Are you going to win the next election, LHC? Yes. So, I tell all those who want to contest, as Peter Tosh said, if you live in a glass house, do pelt stones. Right? UNC is not anonymous. It is embodied in Ms. Germaine Talparo, Manny from Monte Nuevo, that is UNC, Ms. Sister Helen Mirage from Las Lomas, Khadijah from Jacob Hill, Tuffy in the farming section, and God will have to forgive me if I call our queen, Miss Barbara, name tonight, and Miss Barbara Rugby of Wallafield. Tonight, Barbara works hard and wins the PDs in Wallafield. Not for the UNC, for all of us. Tonight, the hard-working team of La Horquetta Talparo stand on the shoulders of, as I said, the 17 party groups. They are the best version. They have been waiting to be administered their oath. They have been working, but they have been waiting to be administered the oath by our honorable political leader. And tonight, you will have that privilege. They are the best version of UNC, and tonight I thank them. Because unless you work with the UNC people, you will never know how sweet it is to be loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Yes. I'm telling you, I'm not telling you we are perfect in LHC. What we have is perfect commitment, where everyone understands the mission. As any other team, there is conflict, but it never spills out into the streets. I must confess though, most of the complaints come about Ryan. Everybody complains about Ryan, okay? So that's the most of the complaints. We treat issues internally. Sometimes it is not settled to everyone's satisfaction, but we know we have a bigger vision because we know our cause is just. We cannot tell Brother Neville, John of Arima, Ryan Diaz, Nigel Moses, I saw them on the side there. What's her name? Crystal Hussein of Arima, they cannot win. Every day they are out on the road. They are out on the road in Arima working hard. Because if you work hard, then of course you can't expect to win. You only can work through hard work. And they are doing the work on behalf of all of us. UNC, we did not come this far, only to come this far. We did not show up here in our huge numbers tonight by guess. I ask again, which organization in Trinidad and Tobago can week after week hold so many events successfully, keep motivation and work ethics high? In the marginal, it is a different story. You ask Senator Nakid, ask MP Hussein, ask Anil Roberts, ask Vandana Mohit, ask MP Michelle Benjamin. We don't have it easy. However, we keep working for whom? For all of us. I don't have all the answers, but I know again we did not come this far, only to come this far. So like the rock star Pink said, hold strong. Show your head back, UNC, and you spit in the wind. Let the walls crack, cause it lets the light in. Let them drag you through hell. They can't tell you to change who you are. That's all I know so far. And when the storm's out, you run in the rain. Put your sword down, LHT, UNC. Dive right into the pain. Stay unfiltered and loud. You'll be proud of that skin full of scars. You know why? You have fought a good fight, and you have run a good race, and you deserve to win. And that's all I know. I love you, LHT. I love you, UNC. I thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
I wish someone would have told me that this life is ours to choose. No one's
Good evening, UNC family. La Horquetta, Talparo. It's been a long time in coming. I haven't been here for quite a while, so I'm very happy to join you tonight, and we thank you for this wonderful welcome to the UNC team. So give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to our two chairs for tonight. Chairman of the Kuva Tabaki Talparo Corporation, Ryan, and Councillor Balmati. Let's give them a round of applause and thank them. The one and only dynamic deputy political leader, Jillian John, Senator John. The MP for Sama Barataria, Saddam Hussein. I think you are the youngest MP. He's the youngest MP in the parliament. And his face is still fresh. Still fresh and young. Bright young man, Saddam Hussein. Senator David Nakid, boy, I don't know which football match you lose or which one you win. So I'll have to launch a probe, some kind of investigation into that. Brilliant senator who fights for us every time, every place, everywhere, Senator Nakir. And what do you say about Senator Arnold Roberts? In the cabinet, he sat with me in the cabinet, and a cabinet is like a very noisy place. You have to make very hard decisions, and you get some for, some are against, and you have to get a compromise in the middle, and arguments really going back and forward, and Arnold in that cabinet will never stop talking. You remember they used to call him Spock? You all remember that when he was on radio? So in the cabinet, after a while, I say, Arnold, dead. In other words, means shut up. He was a great minister of our government, and I'm very proud to see him here tonight, to hear him. Give him a round of applause, Anil. They can't stop you. They cannot stop you. And all these speakers here tonight, I thank our sister Jillian John, our deputy leader. We mentioned her before. Very hardworking. She has mobilized LHT here. I think she really deserves great commendation. As I thank her for working this seat and working it very hard. And I love the words of Saddam Hussein when he said, we have to take La Horquetta Talparo out of foster care and bring it into proper care. Okay, so we've had some events celebrating our 31st anniversary. Let me say for all those who are listening, I say good evening to all of you as well. Those on the TV, those on the Facebook, radio, wherever you are. We say good evening, La Horquetta. Let them hear you. Yes, let them hear you. So we've been celebrating 35 years of our great party. And I don't know if, Kevin, you have some of the clips that we can show. This is from Saturday's Family Day curry duck cookout. It was wonderful. The attendance was massive. Men, women, children. It was an amazing day. So you see some clips there. I think that is it, yes. So whilst that's up, we'll move along. I say, well, we are very happy to be here. Now I'm coming in the car. I'm listening to Chairman Ryan Rampasad, and he's talking, well, good evening here at the Brazil Secondary School. I said, what is he talking about? I built the school. I named the school. What is this in Brazil Secondary School? So I picked up my phone, and I went back, and I looked. And I want to ask Kevin to show the plaque. When we opened the school, Mr. Pandey and I came here in 2000. We opened the school. See the name. What do you see? Brazil High School. All those schools we built in the year 2000, I named them high schools because we wanted to distinguish them from the junior section, senior secondaries. So what did the PNM do? They have not built a single school. But when they came into office, changing names. They do the same thing with the Coover Hospital. I always ask you, what's in a name? It is what is the substance of the thing. And this great school, I will tell you, has, for those from 2000 to what is now 2024, 24 years, our young children have been gaining and being educated at this great Brazil High School. So we're very proud of that. I'm very filled with pride. I move along. Non-stop crime, violence, demonic bloodletting in Trinidad and Tobago under Rowley government. Now, I listened to Senator Naked and he's totally correct. It is top-down crime, and I'll come and show some more. Senator Naked shared it with us. As I'm coming to the car, I said, you're very right. You want to blame everybody here when it starts at the top. Senator, what do they say? A fish rottens from the head, from the top. So I'll come back to that in a moment. We are only in early May. Only 4 months and a week into 2024. Already the murder rate is, you know how much? Last time I counted, by now, I pray God no more. It is 197. You know how many days we have in the year? Nothing like 197, but 197 murders. I call on government to tell the country whatever happened to the committee they appointed in 2020 to investigate crime in depressed communities. What became of that committee? Look at this clip from Kokorit. Coming up, Kevin. There you are. Mr. Rowley says it could be worse. We say our condolences to these families. I make a call tonight again. Mr. Rowley, you appointed a committee in 2020 to investigate crime in depressed communities. I make this call again because of the massacre at Kokorit over the weekend, the ongoing bloody murders in communities around our country. In one of his many gimmicks to put off dealing with the crime horror, Rowley in July 2020 announced a committee headed by Anthony Watkins to examine crime at hotspots. So I can name some of those areas or communities. Since then, since 2020, we have never heard a single thing about that committee. Nothing about that committee. Nothing about their recommendations. And nothing of government's adoption of any measures to curb the crime. Since March this year, there have been, as I say, 3 mass shootings with illegal firearms. 3 mass shootings. And they have been, I am told, from Friday morning, 6 a.m. to Monday morning, evening, 6 p.m., there have been 17 shootings. 17 shootings. And out of those 17, 11 people have been killed in this one weekend. And Rowley says it could be worse. When we look at those photos, you wonder if we are in Gaza. You wonder if we are somewhere in Ukraine in a battle zone. But these are our citizens. We have a prime minister missing in action. At the time when this is happening over this weekend, I'm saying 4 were massacred in Mayarum. 5 were massacred in Hart Place. 4 were massacred in Kokorit. There have been 47 murders per month in our country. Last year we had average 45. So there's an increase of the murders happening each year. The government must also explain what recommendations they implemented from the gimmick anti-crime symposium in April 2023. Big drama. They had to backdate some kind of, I'm starting to remind you, a procurement notice to give exemption for them to procure goods and services when they brought the whole CARICOM leadership to Trinidad. You all remember that in April crime symposium. What has happened since then? And when asked in Parliament recently, Rowley said, it could be worse. It could be worse. The government explained, what about the recommendations about control of illegal guns, drug trafficking, improved intelligence gathering, a new arrest warrant treaty? Not one of those has been implemented. So every time they do a probe, they hold a big meeting, nothing happens. Nothing happens. Anytime there's an outcry of something in this country, they call a consultation, they call a probe, they make a report, and then nothing. Nothing happens. What happened with the Paria divers up to today? Nothing. What about the 21 babies killed in a hospital? Where's the probe? What are the results of that probe? Unprecedented crime in this country. We have home invasions being totally out of control. Last week, our very own UNC temporary senator, a very devoted, pioneering animal rights activist, Joelle D'Souza, she was a victim of a brutal, traumatizing home invasion and assault. Look at the Express front page, Joelle. young woman, 5 men with machine guns invaded her home invasion. And you want to come and tell me, no, you don't want to give legal guns to our citizens to defend themselves. We will fight that, and we will never support those amendments to the Firearms Act. Joelle was tied up. She was beaten with a gun. She was threatened to be shot in a very horrifying ordeal. Imagine that is your sister or your wife or your daughter. Imagine that is your mother. What does the government have to say? We saw a woman from Kelly Street, Piarco. She was set on fire in a home invasion. Imagine home invading criminals lighting people on fire. A few weeks ago, they lit a home on fire with people inside the home. Home invasions are totally out of control. DJ Sheriff has put up a post for us. Woman 66 set on fire in home invasion. UNC, I tell you. UNC, I tell you again. We support stand your ground law and legal firearms. We will bring stand your ground laws with home invasion laws, make it easier for law-abiding citizens to get access to legal firearms. I fully support the right to bear legal firearms for law-abiding citizens so that you can protect your families. Saddam spoke about this new piece of law that they want to bring to the parliament. Here it is. It is amendments to the Firearms Act. So they're doing consultations. Of course, they're not consulting with you. They're consulting with the outgoing Commissioner of Police because her contract expires in a couple of days. So is she gone? Or who knows? She may reincarnate and be reborn again. Let's see what happens. Under this PNM, the dead could come alive. So they want to create these safe spaces. This wicked government, they want to make it harder for you to get legal firearms. And they want to take away those who already have legal firearms. As I say, we will fight them. They're doing everything they can to help criminals attack you. They are recommending, as Saddam told us, the gun-free zones, which is a parliament. He told us courts, schools, colleges, universities, childcare centers, bars, banks, places of worship, and any government or private buildings declared by the minister. So this is just a list, because then what they will do, the minister will come and just keep adding. And the next place they'll say is in front of your house. You can have a gun in your own house to protect your family. That now becomes a safe zone, because your home is your castle. Your home should be the most safe place in the world. So we declare your home a safe zone, so you can't get a legal firearm. When gunmen come to your house and attempt to rape your daughter, to rape your wife, to rape your sister, I ask the men in this crowd, what do? You stand your ground. You must stand your ground. We must give you the law to protect your families in your own home. Do you agree? Do you agree? Legally, you must protect your families. And it tells us about his 9-year-old daughter. You may have a 5-year-old or 6, 10, 13, whatever age, man, wife, children in that home. Your duty first as a father and a husband is to protect your wife and your children. And we will give you the power. We will give you the tools for you to do that. You watching me? I'm asking you, will you agree? Do you agree? Do you agree? Basically, they're saying you cannot have a legal firearm in any of these safe places. So you will have to leave it at home. As Saddam explained, you're going out and so on, leave it. Now, I think the most important point that identified by MP Saddam is this. It means anytime you go in anywhere near these places, and you go these places very often, banks and schools and places, the gunmen, the illegal men, the bandits say, no, you don't have your gun, your legal gun. So it now becomes not a safe zone for you and your family. Those will become safe zones for whom? For the criminals and the bandits. They are creating these, and you will be like a deer with a light in your headlights in your eyes, and you will be caught like a sitting duck. Do you agree we should not support these amendments, I ask you? No support. But you see, this evil, wicked government, they want you all to be sitting ducks, wherever you are. But you know what? They have 24-hour security. You know who's paying for them? You. The taxpayers are paying to the protection, special branch security police for these ministers of government. But they don't want to protect you, to give you a legal firearm to defend yourselves and your family. Here in this constituency, JJ mentioned some of the areas. Let me just share with you. In La Horquetta, Talparo, here are some of the headlines. You have not been spared a crime. Police probe double murder in La Horquetta. TT Loop News. One man gunned down while liming in La Horquetta. Another headline. Murder in La Horquetta. Guardian. Loop News. Las Lomas. In Las Lomas too. Couple shot while driving in Las Lomas. Loop News. Las Lomas shooting leaves 2 hospitalized. Newsday. Teen shot dead in Las Lomas. This is from TV6. San Rafael. Man shot dead. This is in Loop News. Brazil Village. Passenger gunned down. In a taxi. Brazil Village. This comes from Loop News. And there it is. The refusal of these ministers to fire ministers of death. I branded the Alsing as a minister of death when our babies were dying in a safe place in a hospital. Today I also brand Fitzgerald Hines as a minister of death because he cannot protect us as a minister of national security, just like the Alsing cannot protect our children. Hines tells us it is not his job to keep this country safe. He has overseen thousands of deaths during his tenure, just like his colleague, the Alsing. Government has made history in our country, where with the most amount of murders and deaths happening under their watch, because they refuse to do their jobs. That is what our country has become. Number 6 in the world as a capital of death. Saddam spoke about the Auditor General. I can't do what Anil did. He's really good at putting over about the Auditor General. What you say is the money, the PNMT, for them, it's just some more money. Eh? We are focusing, because this is in the public domain, on the $3 billion missing dollars. $3 billion missing dollars, where they attempted to get the Auditor General to cook the books, to include it, which she did not do. 2 weeks ago, through the Minister of Finance, the government had a constitutional duty to lay the 2023 report, submitted April 24 to Parliament. So I already spoke about that. So it is within the constitutional law, the deadline. By tabling the report, you know what would have happened? It would have become a public document. You know what that means? Anybody in the world, and right you here in LHT, anybody in the world would have been able to go up and find that Auditor Report 2023, telling you where the government got money from, where they spent money, where they borrowed money, all the monies of Trinidad and Tobago. Now, when they tabled that report, as I say, it becomes public, we can all see how the government spent that alleged 64 billion or 60 billion or 63 billion. As Saddam told us, the numbers keep changing. Immat and disgraced Laimon used the cloak of parliamentary privilege to attack a long-standing, highly qualified, respected public servant and her entire staff. They are public servants. They attack them in a most vicious manner. And you know all? Because the government, I tell you, they cannot account for $1 billion in expenditure. So yes, one is this $3 billion they want to cook the books. Tonight I will share you, that is what they want to hide. They have spent $1 billion and cannot provide any documentation, any evidence of where the money gone. So in addition to this $3 billion, they're going to cook the books. There's $1 billion that has been spent, but there are no accounts, no documents, no evidence where the money gone. In the report, taxpayers would find questionable payments, suspicious contracts, lack of supporting documents, non-existent trading companies. There were no responses in some instances, and in others, the explanations the government gave totally unacceptable. So I am saying that this report exposes the government's racketeering, the government's cooking of the books, the government's inability to account for their monies. We have seen documents already out which states that a Toko Sandigrandi MP was paid $752,000 of your dollars for government rentals. We don't know what, where, or why, but we know an MP. That is in the auditor's report that they want to hide and they do not want to lay. It means the cabinet is again given one of their own MPs rental contracts. Using another one, yes. Just like Farisal rental, we now have this guy, what's his name? Monroe, I think. Monroe. We have a Monroe rental as well. That is in the book. Monroe. That is in the report that they're hiding from you. And further, let's talk about this report again, about a major item in the report. All auditor reports, they do two things. They have revenue. Revenue is what you get. And then you have what you spend. But we've been hearing about the revenue side, where they want to say they get $3 billion more, or $2. By the time they're done, Mr. Rowley is on the platform saying he brings $17 billion to Trinidad. You hear like? He said when he traveled, he cost $17 billion to come to Trinidad. Well, I dare him. Show me where. Where is the 17 billion? Instead, you spend over 10 billion for all these travelers, and we're counting more because he's going again somewhere, some part of the world. So let's talk about the expenditure side. This report highlights several areas of concern. I'm putting up a slide there, Kevin. Do we have it? This is contained at page 17 of the report. Areas of concern include non-compliance with legal requirements, rules and regulations, and other directives. This is the part of the government. Weaknesses in systems of internal control, improper maintenance of accounting books and records, and breach of rights under Section 1162 of the Constitution for the Auditor General or the authorized persons to access all books, records, returns, and other documents about the public accounts. So let's look at the first one. The Ministry of Finance cannot account for $386 million they spent. You heard me? The Ministry of Finance cannot account for spending $386 million. So why you don't want us to see a report? You don't want us to find that you spent $386 million and it cannot, nothing, no evidence where this money gone. What was it about? What did they spend it on? So there are several areas here. The Treasury Division. Documents to support payments of public monies totaling $386.058 million were not produced for audit exams. Payments are as follows. Expenses in connection with international financial institutions, over $231 million. They can't show no paper, they can't show no evidence, but they spend $231 million of your money. They have something called a fiscal incentive program for farmers. They spent $77.3 million on that, but they can't find a piece of paper. So who are the farmers? Anybody here in Horquetta, Talparo? Any farmer here? You get any of that? You get that 71 million, uncle? No? No? To whom were they paid? By whom was it paid? And has to be again P&M Ratchifi. $77 million for farmers. And if you find me one Horquetta Talparo farmer, tell them come on stage and take a bow because they would have been really God lucky to have got that money. Where the money gone? They spent another $24 million on contracted services. Again, this is where you have public servants, but they're not hiring the public servants. So what they do, they handpick you, and you, Mary, John, and Leela, P&M party car, they handpick them, and they bring them in on contract and paid $24.7 million. This is just one ministry and one division, you know. It's happening in all of them. $24 million, and they cannot find a piece of paper, you understand, to support to whom they paid this $24 million, and for what purpose. Then they have general administration, rent and lease. Who they rent from? Which lease again? $15.3 million. And the list goes on. And it totals about, as I said, $36 million. More than 36. 300, what am I doing? 386 million spent by Minister of Finance and no documents to prove on what it was spent. So that is one of the things I feel that they're covering up. They don't want us to see that report. And again, if this is so, and it is so, it is in the report, then that is fraud. But more than that, it amounts to misconduct in public office. Misconduct in public office. And somebody will have to pay for that. They will have to pay for that. We will not let them rest. So the question comes now, imagine the FIU, Financial Intelligence Unit, cannot account for $6.3 million spent. This is the same institution which is in charge of suspicious transactions. I mean, if you're laughing, what they say, you're crying. They're in charge of monitoring suspicious transactions, but they spent $6.3 million and can't find a piece of paper to prove who, how, what, when, why. As I laugh, I said, this has to be the biggest joke for these few days. Minister of Finance must move to provide documentation to support the spending of this $386 million. I ask again and ask with me, where the money gone? Where has this money gone? Minister, tell us. And that is the ministry, Finance, to oversee all other ministries and expenditures. So there are other areas. There is the Ministry of Education in the same thing. Then we have the Ministry of Works and Transport, and I'll come to that in a moment. We have the judiciary. Yeah, let's get, I spoke last week or a couple of weeks ago about the ticketing system. Anybody remembers that? I spoke about the government abusing ticketing and the demerit point system, using it as like a tax to raise money. What is presented as a mission for public safety is really a scheme for them to collect more money. That ticketing and terrorism against our drivers were never about road safety. It is another tax drive by government, where they use the licensed authority to raise revenue. Tonight, in front of you, again from the Auditor General's report, page 656, the slide is up there. They collected revenue through the Postal Corporation on behalf of the Ministry of Works and Transport with respect to fixed penalty ticket trafficking system. You know what you call it? $74 million. Ticketing, drivers, ticketing them for demerit system, $74 million collected by squeezing. People can't earn a living, drivers losing their license with demerits, fines. So the wicked government has terrorized our population with tickets to the amount of $74.58 million. So it's never about road safety. It was millions in the pockets of the PNM. The judiciary, and it hurts my heart. I didn't want to really talk about the judiciary, but this is so linked with the whole justice system, even with respect to crime and the dispensation of the rule of law and justice. In that auditor report as well, show the slide from page 20 of the report. The judiciary, the institution which deals with the rule of law in our country, they cannot provide a contract agreement for audit examination for works valued at $34.4 million. Cannot show how they spent it, where they spent it, to whom it was paid. It was for rehabilitation of the Hall of Justice, Port of Spain, $15.7 million. Refurbishment of Marjories Court, $6.7 million. Outfitting of a building, Naparema Road, again a contract there for $3.5 billion. So the judiciary cannot account for tens of millions of dollars that they spent. Are these reasons why they want to hide that report from the public view? One, finance cannot account for the $386 million. The Financial Intelligence Unit, the FIU, cannot account. The judiciary cannot account. And as the days unfold, we will share with you more and more from that report. And that is why we have to ask, is that why they want to hide that report? I saw something interesting as I move along, before I close, in the newspapers over the weekend, where Mr. Rowley's business partner, the son of Mr. Rowley's business partner, has been charged. Over the weekend, and you will see the arrests there, we saw the son of Rowley's business partner, Alan Warner, was charged in connection with a large-scale illegal quarrying operation. His name is Aluko Atto Warner, one of the sons of Tobago construction magnate Alan Warner, is among 8 people charged with this illegal quarrying operation in Wallerfield. The officers reportedly discovered a large-scale mineral processing plant operating without a license. On Friday, young Warner and 7 other men were charged with processing minerals without a license under the relevant Minerals Act. Now let us remember who Mr. Alan Warner is. Alan Warner is Rowley's business partner at a company called Alma Farms in Tobago. He also sold 2 townhouses to the infamous Inez Gate to the Rowley family. Mr. Rowley, I think his daughter, for discounted prices, those townhouses at Inez Gate. Alan Warner is the CEO of Warner Construction and Sanitation Company. They have opened extensive operations in Trinidad last few years. I want to tell Alan Warner tonight to watch out with some of those friends that you think you have. I am informed, and it is alleged, that this raid on the Warner operation and the subsequent arrest of young Warner, son of Miss Alan Warner, was carried out at the request of a PNM government minister. This PNM minister's relative is associated with illegal quarrying operations inside the same Wallerfield area. I am told that the minister's relative has complained that the Warners have been selling more aggregate at lower prices and so reducing sales to the relatives quarrying. This minister coordinated, I'm told, allegedly, for the arrest of the young Warner to protect their family's relatives' business interests. So the TTPS must say why the Warner operation was targeted, but others in the same Wallerfield area were not. Many others are operating in likewise. And that is a question on many people's minds. So wait to see if similar action will be taken against the minister's relatives and the illegal quarrying operations. I want to ask something. Is it true that the Rowley government is refusing to pay Mr. Alan Warner monies due for work that he has done? Is that true? Have they turned against their business partner? And is that why they also targeted young Warner in the quarrying operations? Only time will tell. You know what happens in the dark? Always comes to light. Always come up in light. Now, Saddam spoke about another point which I'll not raise again, which is the attack they've had on independent institutions. For the last few minutes I have, let me just close as I thank you for sharing with us tonight. I leave you. I say to you once more, thank you for your inspiring support of our great party. We all know we will always face challenges in our quest to restore good, all-inclusive governance in TNT. But once we commit as a party, as individuals, as citizens who want better for our country, once we commit to fighting together with strength, determination, and courage, we will overcome. Our country is in deeply despairing times, but we can rescue it. And you know what we have to do. All our speakers tonight told us what we have to do. You don't need gun, you don't need cutlass, all you need is your voting finger. All you need is your voting finger. We need to come together hand in hand and heart to heart as we go forward. That index finger may hold a pen or the stamp that you use in the voting booth. But it is what makes the difference. It is the heart that makes the difference. That is where you'll make the right choice to vote for the UNC to win. I know that we will be victorious. So I ask you, are you ready to win? Are you ready for victory? And La Horquetta Talparo, all the boasting you all did tonight, you'll be number 1 when the results are called, when the roll is called up yonder. La Horquetta Talparo with the number 1 seat in the house of the rising sun. I say we are UNC and we are proud. We are UNC and we are proud. The code is Yellow is a code. You have had leaders before me, I tell you. You will always have leaders after me. But you will never ever have a leader who loves you as much as I do. God bless you. Long live the UNC, and thank you.